So in this week's L&D Dispatch newsletter that I write with my friend and colleague Ross Dickey, look at 4 papers that I think kind of make you laugh at first and then they make you think. So the first one is about the triumph of nonsense in management studies. And it's it's kind of an editorial piece, but it's about the number of academics working in the leadership and management space that basically write about trivialities, or they look for that killer finding, but when you dig into it, it actually doesn't really mean very much at all. And it's got this really nice phrase in it, which is, are you suffering from imposter syndrome, or are you a genuine imposter? I think that's just a provocative question that we should all ask ourselves if you work in the kind of behavior change sphere for trying to make any kind of impact in what you're doing. Like, are you just talking a crock of bullshit, basically? Second paper, I've talked about it before, but it's about zombie leadership theories. And so these are the theories that have been repeatedly debunked over the years, but lumber on regardless, like they're, The Walking Dead, and no matter how much we try and get rid of them, we just can't. So one of those theories that really stands out is that there are particular traits in leaders that make them particularly effective. And you only have to look at kind of the most famous leaders in the world, if you're going to say like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Donald Trump, and look at the chasm that exists between their behavior and the kind of leadership behaviors that are taught in L&D programs, to think, oh, maybe it's possible to be effective, but actually be kind of a cock, and maybe the things that we're trying to teach people aren't that effective in the first place. So the authors of that paper really emphasized the role of followers in the leadership development. So you can't look at leadership just as a single person, you have to look at leadership in relation to followers. Third paper, very, very cool paper. It's looking at the use of needless erudition in the workplace. And so this would be the kind of words like erudition, loquacious, like using basically like longer versions of words to make yourself sound more intelligent. And they did a nice experiment where they got a load of undergraduates to rate the same piece of writing, written simply and written with more complex language, and then ask them to judge how intelligent do you think the writer is. And these students basically judged that the ones with the more complicated language were probably bullshitting, that they probably didn't know what they were talking about, and they were judged to be less smart than the people who could communicate clearly. So that's a nice clarion call for all of us to use more simple language when we are talking to one another. And then the final paper, this one's there kind of just for fun, but the researchers of this Australian institute were perplexed by the fact that teaspoons kept going missing. And so, being nerdy researcher types, they decided to do a paper about the half-life of teaspoons. So they got 70 teaspoons and they numbered them and they scattered them about this research institute, and then they tracked them over the course of several months, and something like 80% of them disappeared over those 3 months of the trial period. So they then calculate the half-life of the teaspoons and how many teaspoons would you have to buy each year in order to maintain a consistent level. And it was something like, if you need 70 teaspoons constantly, you need to buy 120 every year just to maintain that number. Where are they going? Nobody knows. It's a mystery. The lesson from that paper is bring your own teaspoon to work and keep it in your pocket. Anyway, I will put a link below to the newsletter. You can read all about those. There's links to them. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope you found this interesting. I'll see you next time.